All right, how about now? Testing, 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 testing. Okay, let's keep checking it, testing. Let's make sure the audio is working before I proceed. Testing, testing, testing. Okay, yes, we have audio. Excellent. All right, let's keep going on here, and let me go through the administrational items. Hey, before I get started, you can go ahead and type in your symbols now for stocks and ETFs, and I will take a look at them as soon as I finish the admin part of this presentation, which of course is the risk disclaimer and things like that. But type them in caps, and let's get going. All right, first thing I have to, of course, present here are the risks involved in trading. You know, it is possible to lose some or all your money trading or even investing in the financial market. So please be aware of that. Always trade with risk capital, money you can afford to risk in the markets. And also, please always use risk control. All right, risk control is important. And if you need help with that, we can help you with that at traderscoach.com. And finally, run all your ideas past your financial advisor. We don't know your personal situation, they do. So we're going to talk about a lot of stock opportunities today, and some of them may or may not be suitable for you. So definitely check with them on that. All right, now, if you need help with that risk control part of your trading or investing, I've got a brand new book called The Money Management for Traders on the far right-hand side. And that book is a really good book for a variety of reasons. One is it's not a long read, but I give you everything in that book that you really need to know to implement a sound and proper risk control set of rules to your trading or investing. So definitely check that out. It's very inexpensive. We put it in a lot of formats. There's an audio format, so you can, get in the car and listen to it. There is a Kindle edition, if you like that, hardcover and softcover. And it basically is kind of like a condensed or Cliff Notes book of my more comprehensive book on the far left called A Trader's Money Management System, which is also an excellent book. So, either one of those is great, but if you want the bullet points, go for the Money Management for Traders. And of course, I've got other books available, including the Elliott Wave. Now, when we look at charts, you may see some things on the chart that look foreign to you or even alien. And that basically is our charting software. It's proprietary. I developed it over the last 30 years of trading now. And I've got charting software, I've got scanners, I've got risk control software. You're primarily just going to see the charting software today. So keep that in mind. All right. And then finally, please like us, subscribe to us, and share us. The more people we get coming to these things, the better off we are, okay? Because basically the idea here is what we like to do is have enough people here that they share their stock picks, and we take a look at them. I give you a second opinion, and from there you can decide if that stock pick is good for you as well. So you might pick up a few stocks. So it's kind of like a free stock picking service. All right, so let me get out of here. And let's get into the charts. I thought while you guys are typing these things in, let me just quickly go over the Dow. All right, so we got a pretty bullish day on the Dow. It's up about, 600 points or so, give or take a few. And what's interesting here is we think in July, right around now, maybe we may have one more low in the market, and then we should have a fairly significant bullish bounce in the market. And that bounce could last several months. So I think we're in an area where we've already hit the target zone. This is the Dow Jones in front of you here on 3 time frames. So this is the weekly, the daily, and the 60-minute. And the reason I do this is it gives you the short-term look at a market, the intermediate, and then the long term. So it kind of spreads it out amongst 3 time frames. And so when I look at it like this, I take a look and see kind of what the market is telling us. And we hit a target zone here. We're in the target zone for the end of this move down. And this move down represents a long-term first leg correction. And we call that in Elliott wave sequencing an A wave. So this is an A wave. So we're close to the bottom of A wave. After A wave, you get, of course, in the alphabet, B wave. All right. And B wave is a fairly significant bullish bounce in the overall long-term correction. So we're not saying the correction is over because we get this bullish bounce, but we say it's part of the correction, and it is a bullish part of the correction. And then after B wave, okay, you get C wave, which takes it down even deeper than A wave, which I think will probably happen next year sometime, or maybe by the end of the year. All right, so I anticipate we're close to a bottom. Could we be at the bottom? It's possible. All right, we may have hit the bottom of A wave already, but I'm not really going to say that until we get above this little pressure point here, which is around 33, I don't know, 350. Roughly. Okay, if we get above that, then chances are A wave is over. But it is also possible to take another dip down into this target zone. So we kind of got to be a little flexible here. But we're also finding some pretty good long positions in some stocks here that may have already bottomed. And we found some last week as well. So we're going to take a look and see what's cooking for this week. You know, we looked at a lot last week, and I told everybody, you know, if it's not quite ready last week, bring them back this week, and let's see if a week can make a difference. So, John, I think you're the first one here with DQ. Let's check out DQ and see what comes up. All right, so DQ is actually looking better this week. I think it actually was okay, probably a little bit further too. We've had a little pullback, all right? So classic, okay? Here's a classic situation here. Here's a situation where you had a bottom here, okay? And then you had a spring off the bottom. And now you're getting a little bit of a pullback, which is not unusual. I would try to put your stop as far away from current prices, maybe right near this little point where my arrow is. Do you see that? I think that would be a great place for a bottom, and I'd keep it there because the long-term charts are saying this is going to get back into the triple digits, so around 120. Because if you look at this weekly chart over here, okay, this one here, notice that that chart there is showing that we have a situation where we could have a high coming back here based on this indicator alone, which is called the PTF indicator right here. So it's kind of interesting. I think we're going to get certainly see more highs in this, but you got to keep your stop far away in order to reach that. Okay, so if you're in it, that's the way I would play it. And I think, John, we talked about being in that before. Now, a couple things here. Notice the 60-minute chart on the far left shows a pullback that's that we're experiencing here. You can see it on the daily chart, and you got a red. Do you see that? A red owl, which is this histogram here. So, and you also have an inside price bar. Do you see that here? Price bar is inside there. So when you have an inside price bar like that, basically what I would do, if you get a break above the top of that inside price bar, that's bullish. All right. And if you get a break below, that means it's going to pull back a little further. So why don't you wait and see what we happens on that probably next week. All right. Because this is Friday's activity here. So wait and see what happens next week and see which way it breaks on that inside price bar. And you also do have a bearish, but only one histogram bar on the owl. So I guess if you're not in it, why don't you wait a little bit? But if you get the green light, go. Okay, looks pretty good. All right, Stuart, Qualcomm. It's San Diego-based company, Stuart. All right, let's see what we got cooking on Qualcomm. All right, so looking better. Okay, so I think we were kind of waiting for this thing to pop up, and it looks like it's done it here. Let me just restart my pointer. I'm having trouble with my graphics here. It's always something, right? All right, so let me pull this baby off here, and we'll see if I can get this working here. Okay, there we go. All right, so we've got a nice pyramid trading point. Do you see that forming right here? And a nice entry, green, no red, green, liking that. So I'm thinking that maybe we're good for a pull up from here. We have a pretty deep and red owl on the weekly chart. So that kind of makes me a little concerned that maybe we're going to have only a bounce in a movement that may not be over to the downside. So tough one to call here. I don't know if we're going to make new highs here in terms of going above the 190 mark there. But I do think we're good for a retracement, and probably at this point here, the most I can say for right now is we could probably get into that target zone between 146 and 164. So if you're already long, all right, just stay long and see if it blows through that fib, because if it blows through that fib, then chances are it will make another high. But we also could see it turning around and heading back down when it hits that fib target. So I probably, unfortunately, would not necessarily trade this one, because if I only get the target zone out of this, there's not enough profit in it. All right. The only way I'm ever going to make money is if it makes a new high. So I kind of, there's a lot of things going against it in terms of the long-term chart that it may not make it. All right. So I kind of think you could find something a little bit more sure than this. Let's take a look at your other one, Home Depot, and see how that is looking here. Give that a second to load. All right. Now here's a great example of blowing right through a, here's a retracement. But let's see now, kept going down and down and down. So we got to move those down. So in this case here, and let me move the one down here as well. So we're looking for a retracement maybe to 324 to 361. All right. And if the correction is over, then it will keep going. But in this case here, we have bullish divergence that you can see here. So that's a good sign. This is bullish over here. So that's good. Pretty deep owl over here. So that's why I'm calling for a correction. Again, if it blows through there, then probably it will go ahead and take that out up there. So pretty close to an entry. The only thing I would wait for is a green owl here. Okay, so that's kind of how I would play that. And then figure out if there's enough profit to the target zone. So that one's at least, the target zone's a little further away on Home Depot in this one. All right, so not so bad. All right, BC, let's take a look at this one. And this one here, similar situation, a little bit of a red owl on the 60-minute, green on this one here. Okay, so I guess the only thing I would do is definitely you got a long trade here. This is red, but you have a green PTF, so that's a good sign. If you're going to play it off this chart here, you're going to have your stop at the bottom of this pyramid. So I really wouldn't worry too much about the red PTF on the 60 if you wanted to go in early. If you want to wait a little bit, you could. So that's looking pretty good here. It looks also too, again, that let me just draw a few fibs. See, here's what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned that this is not the bottom. So if this is not the bottom and we get something like this and then a move down, well, then you got to take your profits here or you're going to end up getting stopped out. All right. That's my concern on all these that you showed me so far. So the possibility is that this is a bottom and you have an ABC. So that could be a possible bottom there. All right. But if this is going to mimic the Dow, then this would be an A wave bottom, B wave, and C wave. So your profit's going to be determined by how high B wave is going to go. And B wave is tricky. It's not like a normal wave 4 retracement, because B wave can retrace to a target zone like here, or it could go almost all the way to the top of the high before it sells off. So it's a little bit tricky on knowing when B wave will end. And there's lots of different scenarios. There's complex corrections that it could go into in terms of an Elliott wave. But this is not a bad, you don't have such a bad risk to reward here just to get there and then stay with it until it turns around. So you may even get a little bit boost. So I think out of all of them, I like this one best. All right, simply because your risk to reward is best on this one. All right, so that's BC. And again, the only thing you got going against you here is a red owl on the 60-minute. But BC could be a good one because you got a nice pyramid entry on the daily chart. So I like that. All right, so let's keep going. Terry, how are you? Let's see what else we got here. Terry's like ORLY. Let me type that one in, Terry, for you. And let's see what cooks on this one. All right, so this one definitely bullish now. At a little pullback. All right, so the owl's not so bad here on this one, okay? It's not so deep. But I don't see an ABC correction, so I'm thinking maybe 1, 2, 3, come back down. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about this one. Let's draw some fibs in and see if this recent low here is in place. I think I'll use the weekly chart for that. You see, if you look at the history on this, if the Dow is begun a major correction, which we think it has, then this could be in a little bit ahead of the Dow in terms that this could be B wave it's in now, and then head down to C wave. So got to watch that. You know, it's almost better to trade the 60-minute chart on these things because B wave is so tricky, and this one's already at the retracement level. So the only way you're going to make money on this one is if this is not a correction and a pullback to make another high. That's the only way you're going to make money. Otherwise, you're already in the area where B wave could end. So, you know, this is why this chart here would be a better chart to trade because it's got the pyramid so close there. All right, so what do I do with this one? I probably pass because of what I just said. All right, but that's just me. All right, if you want to go long and use risk control in hopes that it makes another high, go for it. Okay, nothing wrong with that as long as you use risk control. But I just think, you know, I would be surprised if it makes another high, but I've been surprised before, okay? Let's just say that, all right? Key, let's take a look at yours, NVDA. Now, if you're in something already and you're already long or short, let me know. When you type in the symbol, let me know if you're in it or not, because that's kind of will give me an idea of where I can help you place stops rather than whether you should be going into it at that time, okay? All right, so here is NVIDIA, okay? And I am using NVIDIA cards right now on my computer. I've got 2 of them in there. All right, so let's see what we got here. We got bullish divergence on the daily chart. We've got a pretty steep increasing momentum owl there. We got an active pyramid to the downside here. You're probably looking for some form of bottom here to go long on. All right, it's close, but not quite there yet. Okay, now if you get a go on the daily and you got still a lot of negativity on the weekly, you got to cut your position size, you know, in half. So it's not quite ready yet. Okay, so let's see. Stewart's back with ROKU. I could mistype. ROKU. All right, let's see what we got there. ROKU. All right, so, you know, the idea is why we wait for some of these things like Key is saying here, just waiting for it to pop. You know, that's the nice thing. When you can use a kind of multiple time frame analysis with the right tools, you can kind of wait for those lower time frames to turn around. Therefore, you don't have your money sitting there idle, right? I mean, the worst thing you want to do is have a ton of money in a trade that's going nowhere. All right, so what do we got cooking with this? I actually like this one, but it's not quite ready yet, okay? So this one should go on everybody's watch list. Why do I say that? Well, it looks to me like you have divergence, triple divergence, almost quadruple, but triple. Look at this, all right? I always count this as 1, 2, 3, almost 4. The more of these humps that occur when the market is making low, and this is measuring momentum, and the owl, the histograms don't go as low as the one before, but the prices do, that's divergence, and that is bullish divergence. And when it happens 3 times, it increases the chances that the trade is going to reverse, or the market's going to reverse, and your trade will be successful, because that will be more conclusive of a bottom. So if you're going to go to the long side, that's what you want to look for. So I'm liking this. I would probably at this point go with this when the owls turn green on the daily and the 60 minutes. Okay, so I think everybody should write this one down, because we could be getting to a possible significant bottom. And if that's the case, you'll get a very early entry. And look at this thing on the weekly chart. It's come all the way down. So this is not a wave 4. This is, this is totally like either a 1 and a 2. So this is getting ready for a serious bottom here. And I think it looks pretty good. But you just got to be wait a little longer. But don't miss it. Okay, do not miss it. All right, THO, let's take a look at your next one here. And let's see what we got cooking here. Okay, I think probably a decent trade is emerging here. Let's see what we got. We've got some pyramids that have already triggered. Let's see what we got for a possible problem with this one. Is a pretty steep but improving owl, green PTF. So that's actually a good sign once the bottom is in for more highs on this. So here's what I would do on some of these. You're going to have to choose which ones you want to use for this type of trade, because you showed me quite a few that are bottoming, but also maybe just going into a fib retracement. So I would take a look at all these and kind of figure out which one you like the best, and not go in all of them, but maybe choose just 1 or 2, because the problem is they're a little bit more chancy than trades that we think have finished a correction. All right. So in a case like this, your target is here, but if it blows through the target, that's a good sign. If it does, then chances are you'll make a new high on the stock. All right. But you show me a lot of these. So pick the one you like the best. But for right now, there's just no way of knowing really if a bottom is in on this, or this is just a temporary pull up in a downtrend that's going to keep going. Okay. If that makes sense. All right. I want to talk a little bit about the cryptos here. GBTC is one. I hope you're not in this. Okay. You've had plenty of opportunities to get out if you have been in it. So hopefully you've been stopped out. There's nothing wrong with taking a trade, any trade, even Bitcoin, as long as you use risk control. As long as, okay, if I get stopped out, I'm going to lose a certain percent, no more than 2, I hope, on this trade. And that's acceptable to me. And that's typical of how I trade. There's nothing wrong with going into Bitcoin for that reason. And so if you went in, based on that reason back in here, thinking it was going to pull up, fine. But now you're out and you don't want to be in it right now. So if you're still in it, you're kind of hoping, I think at this point, that it will turn around. It's turned into a long-term investment versus a trade. And that's what happens with a lot of traders when they hold on to markets past their stops. They turn that short-term trade, which was a momentum trade, into a long-term investment. And a lot of times that doesn't work out too good. Okay, so be on guard with that. Now, silver is the other one that we've heard a lot about. People are saying, pounding on the table. I mean, if you look on YouTube and look at some of these influencers, everybody is saying buy silver. And I don't doubt that one day it will be fine, but right now it's not. Okay, look at the technicals. The charts don't lie. Okay, anybody can have an opinion, but look at the reality of the charts. It's still going down. So why would you buy this right now? You wouldn't. Okay, you'd hold off until things improve. So if silver is something that you believe will be great in times of trouble in the economy and things like that, or for whatever reason you think it would be good, that's fine. Keep an eye on it and then wait for the technicals to turn around and buy it. All right, but not right now. And then also gold is kind of an interesting one. You know, the market has not been good this whole year, but look, gold's coming down. All right. And here was a key price level we were looking at, okay, on the weekly chart, but it blew by this one on the daily chart. And again, red, 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 red. Okay, so it's still moving down. And we're going to watch this to see if this turns red or stays green. So far, you know, and it also hit its target zone once already. So we're hoping it will go back into the target zone. But for right now, again, you wouldn't be buying this now. It may be good later, but use your technicals and, you know, that'll tell you the truth of what's going on. Okay. So that kind of thing. All right. Did I miss anybody out there? All right. Did I miss anything? Going once, going twice. What do you think? Let me know if I missed anybody out there. All right, let's go here. Key's got another one. Great. Okay, CRSP for you, Chris. CRSP. Let's take a look at that one. Crisp. Okay. Oh, Chris. Key. This is a good one. Good one. Liking this. Okay, what do I like about it? All right, now we got a green owl over here. This pyramid has been stopped out. No longer a downtrend based on the pyramids. Look at the pyramids here. No red anywhere on this. This is what I like. This is a winner for today. CRSP. Okay. Did we look at this one last week? Looks familiar to me. But in any case, all right. So this could be, let me just take a look at this weekly chart here. All right. So it's pulled back. This was not a 4. This was probably a 1 and a 2. So we may be getting ready to go into a major long-term 3 on this, believe it or not. And if that's the case, then it should be good to go. Worst case scenario, it retraces, but I really like this. All right, so what do you do with this one? All right, we've had a number of pyramids in a row on this first leg up. Let me just grab my pointer. Okay, so if this is the bottom, we'll call this 0. This could be the beginning leg of the new move up, which could be a wave 3. So if that's 1, 2 could come all the way back. You got to put that stop pretty low in order to survive 2. Now, you know, we're at 80 and the bottom was at 40. Okay, so that's a huge difference and very unrealistic to put your stop down there, right? So what could you do? Well, you could buy an option, okay, and therefore you don't have to worry about the stops. Just make sure when you buy the option that you don't pay more than 2% of your account size for it. So if the option expires worthless, you only lose 2%, right? So that's one way to play markets that you want to get into where the stop is so far away. The other way you could do this is let's draw some fibs in here and see if that helps. So we've got to pull this baby up to see where that is. All right, let's draw that a little more accurately. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, so probably put your stop at this pyramid here or just under 64.22. So that way, if it pulls back, okay, it won't stop you out. Now, you had a pretty good pullback here, so that's a good sign. So I'm thinking, you know, you can put that pyramid a little bit off the bottom, right under here or under this fib at this point. And that will help in terms of giving you better trade size. All right, so I'm liking CRSP. I think it's got tremendous potential. I'm seeing green now on the weekly chart. So I'm thinking maybe this correction's over and this is going to be a big move. So that's why I like CRSP best so far. Okay, so very good. All right, let's see what else we got here. GOGO. GOGO. Please remember, type your symbols in caps for me, okay? Makes it easier to see. All right, let's see what's going on here on this bad boy. All right, let me just see. This is for Al. Okay, you got a put on this thing? All right. So you're short on this, which is good. All right, but you are going to have to be careful on the timing because this is green, so it's not going to go down forever unless that changes. We got triple, actually double, well, no, triple divergence here, I think. Yep. So you got to be careful here. I don't know what your intentions are on your put, but you may, I don't know how long you've been in it, but if you've been in it for a while and you got good profit, I'd put your stop. Look, this pyramid here, 16, you got a pyramid here just under 16. So about the same, pretty close. So I would just see if you get a reversal on this, okay? You still got a pretty steep owl here, so I wouldn't just jump out of it. I'd try to stay in it. But if you get above those pyramids, then it's probably going to either correct or change in trend. Could be an A, B, C. So you got to be a little careful here. Okay. All right. Let's see. SDGR. And this one is for Lynn. How are you doing, Lynn? Ooh, I'm liking this one too. Okay. Big move down, coming off its bottom. This may be a classic end of A wave type of thing on the Dow and an opportunity here. I'm liking this one. All right, so the only thing you got going against you here is this. Okay, these are MPs, so they don't bother me as much. So, you know, that's close enough that I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm going to focus on the lower time frames, and we've got a nice entry here. And this is bullish. I see no red anywhere down here. This is a go. Let's put this one down as a good one. SDGR. Good job on this one. So again, even a worst case scenario on this, I think is going to be fairly decent on this. So something, you know, around 56 bucks to 79. We're at 31. And if it gets into the mid portion of that target, you're talking doubling your money. And if that's a serious bottom and it takes off from there, hold on to it. So yeah, this is one ready now. Okay, I like it. Okay, so this is the best one I've seen so far. So Lynn, you get this. Okay, good job. All right. Hey, we got to liven this up a little bit, right? All right, so there you have it. Okay, good job. Excellent. All right, so SDGR is a winner so far. That's the one I like the best. All right, let's move along. All right, Al, HTHT. All right, and this one, Al, let's see what you're doing. I'm not sure you are long on this one. Okay, good. All right, red PTF, I would not be long on this one. I don't usually go against the red PTFs too often, and you got a red PTF on the daily. Let's see what we got here. If it changes, that's great. I don't know what to tell you. I just wouldn't be long on it because I don't like to go against the red PTF. If you hit this right, maybe let's draw some fibs up. The PTF holds, then you're talking probably, let's see where we got. Is that a price bar way down here? Is that right? I guess it is. Wow. All right. So you're already in the target zone and you got a red PTF. So I would not hold on to this one too much longer. You got a pyramid sitting right under here. Probably best to put your stop there. Do you see that? Okay, in case it reverses and goes down. Now, let's just see what happens here. Let's see if we get any different numbers here for that. Yeah, pretty much the same here, okay? So, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, it could go to 47. I mean, that's possible. It could go to the upper band. So that's why I'd keep your stop here, and hopefully that would keep you in if it goes up higher, okay? That's basically how I would play that. All right, Al, NNOX, Fort Knox. All right, NNOX. Let's see what we got cooking here. Ooh, now this one is very interesting. Probably looked at this one before too, right? Like last week or something. Okay, so not bad. This I like. Still got an active pyramid, but we also got one forming here, an MP. Okay, all right. With this being so close, all right. This is bullish, no red here. I'd go long on this. Okay, I like this one. All right, this is a winner too today. I like SDGR best, but this is a second. Okay. So not bad. And if you can, guys, put your stop under here. It's at 1239, so a stop under here, or even the bottom. Let's see what the bottom is on this thing. I like putting my stops at the bottom when I can, because basically then I only get stopped out if the trade is not, if it's not a bottom, okay? Let me just make sure. I think I got to adjust that teeny bit there. Okay. So we're talking probably a low here at 823, and we're at 1234. You probably could put it at the bottom here if you need a little higher trade size, but that's only 880. Okay. So if it gets above here, that's a really good sign. Then you could probably put your stop even here. But I would be long on this. I think it looks really good. Okay. I like it. So this is second best. See, it pays to come here, right? Never know what you could find. Okay. Excellent. Good job, Al. All right. And Len, good job too. Anybody else? I am happy with both those. So we liked BC. We liked ROKU, I think, for a watch list, right? And CRSP we liked. SDGR and NNOX. All right, John says, let's take a look at snow. Snow in the summertime. All right. Okay, so on this one here, got a pretty strong owl still on the no question about that. You got a little bit of red here, okay? So probably this downtrend that we're in, this brief little lip to the downside is creating this red here. So let's just see what we got in terms of a, here's the deal, all right? When I have a really steep owl on the weekly, okay, and I have pyramids against me, I have to be careful in saying, okay, we're at a bottom, because technically we really are not yet on a bottom in terms of momentum and so forth on the weekly chart. So as soon as I see that, then I know the best trade I can probably do is, or at least I should plan for, is a retracement. Okay. That's why I'm not saying, okay, PTF here, we're going to go up here, because we've got some things going against us that may keep that from happening. All right. I would love it if it got above 400. Okay. That would be great. But I can't really plan on that with that type of bearishness still available on the weekly chart. So the best I can plan for is maybe, and this isn't so bad, all right, we're at 145, so 210 to 275 is a pretty decent return, right? All right, so that's not so shabby. We got a red owl on the 60-minute, so I wouldn't take it. I'd wait for that to turn around. So I think I would put SNOW on a watch list and watch it, okay? And see if you can get in a good enough place, because maybe it'll pull back a little bit more and you'll even have more profit opportunity, okay? So not so bad. Okay, let me see what else I got here. I think we did it. I think we've gone through everything. You guys are amazing. All right, so let me just go through some of the ones that I have circled here. Let's just take a look at CRSP. Let's go back to the three that I think I like the best. So let me type that in, okay? And the first one I'm going to look at is CRSP. Okay, so this one is looking better, okay? The only problem with this one is I don't like this one as good as the others because it's gotten a little bit far away and it's kind of due for a pullback, and we no longer have a green PTF, which kind of indicates also we'll get that pullback. What I like about it is we've gone above the pyramid. We have nothing here negative anymore. So that's a big plus. So I'm liking it well enough to recommend it. It's just the stop loss has got to be pretty low, and pretty low means pretty small trade size on this. So, you know, that's the only thing with that. So it's good, but not my best. Okay, let's call it third best. All right, NNOX, which is the one Al gave us here, is our second best one. And we kind of just reviewed it, but I'm just going to go over it again real quick. So we're thinking that we've got a good chance to get into this target zone here, which, as you can see, is quite far away from where our stop is. So look at the risk to reward, almost like a 3 or 2.5 to 1 just to the beginning of that target zone. So I'm really liking that. Green, green, green. I don't know if you can see that little sliver of green there, and no red. So that's looking really good. So this is number 2, and then the best one, SDGR, and you guys tell me what you think. SDGR, let's see what we got for this one again as we wrap up here. This one again, great move to the target, less expensive. You can put your stop here, so you can probably get a little better trade size, and you've got 2 to 1 to the target, and you've got this going close. So I'm liking this one too, okay? And you know, I don't think you can go wrong with SDGR or NNOX. They're pretty close, okay? So all good, all right? Good job today, guys. Excellent. All right, any last minute ones? All right, now, what do you think? You want me to put it on some day trading charts and leave it there for a couple minutes? You guys would like to watch that? See what the MES is doing? You know, we run a day trading room, and we kind of are trading these time frames, which are very short time frames compared to what we normally look at when we position trade, obviously. But this is, for example, the micro E-mini, very popular contract. The micros are great if you day trade with a small account, and they move around a lot. Okay, so if you can catch the beginning of the trend, that's great. So in a case like this, here's your classic triple divergence. So it's too late to go long. Instead, you might want to look for a short trade coming up here. And if we draw like a fib retracement in on any of these levels, we could see it drop down to this area here. We have a very, very strong owl here. So any trade you take to the short side is counter trend trade. So you got to pick the tops really carefully here. So I'd probably wait for prices to get below here, wait for this to go red. We've got red here. Wait for this to go red before attempting a short trade, or just wait for it to get down here and then think about a long trade. Okay. that's kind of what you may want to do instead, and that way you're going with the 5-minute chart. It's funny, our long-term chart on day trading is a whopping 5 minutes. Our short term is 1 minute, and our intermediate's 1 minute, and our short term is 15 seconds. So when we run the day trading room, we're together for about 2 hours. So we use these short time frames so we have activity. All right, let's see what else we got here. Cooking. All right. Oh, Luke, great to have you here. Luke's all the way from overseas. Good to have you here. Long-term client and friend. Nice to have you here, Luke. All right. All right, John says need more likes. Okay, thank you, John. Yeah, the more likes, the better. According to, I guess, YouTube. All right. All right. So Frank, you got WAB. Okay, we'll take a look at that in a minute. We're kind of in the day trading realm here. All right. Okay, so let me just check on this one, Frank. I'll do one for you here because we're kind of wrapped up today. Try to get here a little earlier next time. All right, WAB. Let's see what we got cooking here. All right, so no position, probably a short position. It's kind of a little messy, isn't it, on the daily chart? Look at that. I think I would trade this not on the short-term time frames. Too messy. Look at the volatility. Look at that. Why bother with this? You know, I mean, oh, geez, forget it. The only way I would bother with this is on a weekly chart. Okay, and I probably would be short with a stop maybe up here. And this would be a scalp trade only based on the PTF. So the PTF has a 75% accuracy, saying it's going to go lower than the lowest price in a red area. So that's down here. The problem is that it can still be accurate. If it pops up here and then heads down, it's still accurate, but you would have been stopped out. So just because it has a 75% probability doesn't mean you're going to win 75% of the time, because it depends on stop loss placement. So in a case like this, I would take a short on that. That ain't bad, but that's a scalp trade. Okay, not a bad trade though. Okay, but I would not trade the short-term time frames, and so this is a long-term time frame. So you'd have to be in this probably a year or so, if not more. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go back. Take a look at the MES again. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen with this. I think it'll drop off, and it's too early to say yet if it's not going to make another high before it drops off. So we'll have to see. Okay, let's go. Let's just quickly, for fun, let's take a look at crude oil. This is another one that's always fun to trade. Okay, so that's kind of going sideways here. Liquidity on the 15-second chart isn't quite high around this time, but okay, no trade there. Gold on the micro, green PTFs. So you kind of want to look to the long side. Liquidity is drying up. Gold is funny. Every time around 9 o'clock to 9:30, liquidity dries up. Okay, so it doesn't mean you can't trade it, but it does mean that it isn't, it can be prone to maneuvering, so to speak. So I would only want to take a long trade on this at this point. And at this point here, where do you put your stop? That's the problem with this one. Okay, would you put it down here? Would you put it here? All right, is it go into a correction and then pop back up? It's not my favorite because I don't like the configuration, though I did just get a pyramid here, so that's a good sign. So I guess you could go long there and put your stop at the very bottom, though, based on that new pyramid. All right, MNQ. Let me just erase this. This was from yesterday. All right, very similar to, it's kind of toppy right now. MYM, oh, this is kind of nice. Look at that. Beautiful move to the upside. Again, toppy. It's too late to go long on these. M2K, which is the micro on the Russell. So all the equities are kind of up there. Now, if you're a day trader, you want to be careful about not being in too many equities at one time, because you get stopped out. Chances on one, you're going to get stopped out on the other. So make sure the trade is really good before going into more than one or two, okay, on that. So that type of thing, okay. So, you know, I will leave this on here, okay. All right, so let's see what else. Sam, hi Sam, how you doing? Let me quickly run over and just look at the, what is it, SPXU? You want to look at? Let me just see if we can get that loaded up for you. Okay, here we are. All right, so Sam, what are you doing with this bad boy? Looking for a long trade? Boy, look at this. Nice. Look at the move down on this. All right, so, you know, SQQQ is another good one for going long. So if you think the market is going to sell off like we do, however, we're going to have a bullish B wave coming up here pretty soon. You need to put your stop low enough, because this is going to pull back during B wave. All right. If we're right that the market has topped already and we're in a long-term correction, then a stop down here will hold. Okay. Or you could use this. Actually, you could use this. Use this little level right here. Okay. Pyramid is too tight. Okay. You want to put your stop down here. Okay. So keep it low, but that's good for a long position. And this is a long term. You're going to have to hold this for about 1.5 years. Okay. So I like it for that reason, but it's not a short-term position trade. Okay. So cool. All right. Well, let me put it back here on the MES, and I'll keep it here, I don't know, for 5 minutes or so. But I would think that we could move back down into this target zone. The owl is going back and forth a lot, so I wouldn't take a trade yet. Okay. I would wait until we clear. Let me just bring this up a little bit clearer like this. I would kind of wait and see if we break below here. Okay. So I'd want to see more prices come down here. Then I'd take a short trade and put it up here, put the stop up there. Okay, that's kind of how I would do that. You have no long pyramids still, so this would be an early entry based primarily on the PTF over here, red, and the Elliott wave. And hopefully if we get a pyramid, that will even, we just got a pyramid. Check that out. All right, so you can go short on this, but put your stop at the top, because the pyramid is sitting right in an inflection area. So if we go down and come up from here, I don't want you to get stopped out. Now, if we keep going down, then that pier will move that pyramid here, and that should hold as long as it's above the inflection point. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm thinking at. So I'll just leave this on for a little while. All right, and I don't like the sessions usually to go more than an hour or so, because basically we have found that people, if it's too long, the sessions, they won't tune in. So we want to keep it kind of controlled that way. All right, so it's looking pretty good. All right, any other questions before we go? We'll be back next Friday. Again, the winners today, SDGR, NNOX, and I think, was it WAB? Wasn't too bad either. Okay, CRSP. All right, not too bad. All right, well, thank you, everybody. I will go ahead and mute out, and I'll just leave this on the short-term day trading timeframes for the MES and let you watch that for a little bit, and see you next week. Okay, have a good week. Hope you're enjoying the summer. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Okay, guys. Well, as you can see, this trade is actually doing really well. We just got a red PTF on the 15-second. So usually what I do on this is when this thing now goes back to yellow, I would scale out a half of my position and try to keep the rest on until we reach the target zone. So we're looking pretty good. If I scale out half, that means this trade at this point would be roughly a little bit of a profitable trade no matter what happens. So the idea is this is our target down here. And then once we get there, we can actually think about turning it around for a long trade. So power of the pyramids, right? Okay, so I'm going to have to run. Have a great one, and we'll see you back here next Friday.